am Sandy Shook. This is Coffee with Sandy. Thank you for joining us today. Coffee with Sandy's mission is really truly about bringing hope to others and making sure that we can show the positive in any kind of incident that happens in our lives. I am privileged to have Becky Clabaugh sitting with me this morning, and I really appreciate you coming in and just being willing to talk about who you are and what you're all about, so I can actually share that with other people.
Well, thank you.
So if you can introduce yourself and give people what it is that you do.
Sure. My name is Becky Clabaugh. I am the CEO, founder of Becky Clabaugh Coaching. I work with entrepreneurial women working through their subconscious hidden money agendas so they can grow and scale their business.
She comes up with some really great ideas, you know.
Thanks.
I was on the way over to our area here, I was trying to think how we actually met.
Yeah.
And I think that it either was women entrepreneurs helping other women entrepreneurs, or however, I don't know. The acronym is WEWE.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that was not the first meeting that we had.
I was thinking about it on the way over here as well, and I think it was at the Tri-Lakes old chamber building when I was hosting the 60-minute connection, a speed networking event that I started 3 years ago. And it was a handful of people. We're still meeting online now, and you're still there.
Yes, I
and
am.
It's growing. That's what's so fun is that I had an idea. I love networking. It's my favorite way to build my organic marketing connection. And I think we had like 6 people there. And now we have almost 35 people coming every month.
Yeah, and not just from Colorado.
Yeah, it's virtual. So it's
Yes.
really cool that we get to collaborate and everybody, all the ships rise with the tide on my watch.
Yes, yes. So are you originally from Colorado? I can't remember.
Yeah, I am. I'm a 3rd generation native.
Wow. And did you grow up in Colorado Springs then?
Yeah, we moved
No way.
to Colorado Springs when I turned 13, and I went to Sabin. It was junior high then, now it's middle school, and I graduated from Mitchell.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so you probably graduated when I moved out here.
Okay, maybe, yeah. Yeah, we've been here a long time, and then Chris and I got married, and he is a military brat. My father-in-law is a retired colonel, and thank that family for their service. So great.
Yes.
And he loved here in Colorado, but then wanted to keep moving around, I guess, because he had the bug still. We had little kids anyway, so we came back. So this is home.
Very nice. Cool. So, okay, when you were growing up, 2nd grade-ish, do you know what you wanted to be?
In 2nd grade, I was very afraid of school. I did not like school. And I was younger. My birthday's in July, so my parents put me in kindergarten when I was barely just 5. So I felt always insecure and scared, and I did not want to get in trouble. I was a rule follower, and that's when I discovered that someone told me, you're not very good at math. And so that's when the story started about this whole money paradigm that I am an expert at helping people shift. That's where it started.
Yeah.
2nd grade.
Wow, 2nd grade. Holy moly.
Yeah, my whole learning career has been, I do have a Bachelor of Science in Human Services, drug and alcohol addiction counselor, because I think I wanted to go and save the world. And but I understand that compassion.
And you are, in a different way.
I do. I still utilize a lot of those skills. My minor is holistic health and wellness education, and it comes from that place of love and compassion and empathy. And so that's why I switched into the coaching part too, because I've just always been a natural cheerleader coach, at a girl kind of person. And I think it was because of just a negative experience starting in 2nd grade. And I had lots of stories about learning. So I turned into a class clown. That was kind of a learned behavior, I think. So that's how I survived school.
Yeah, I was going to say it was a survival technique.
I think
so.
so.
Yeah. When I was growing up, I remember one teacher, she actually, we couldn't chew gum in school. I mean, I don't think kids still can. They're not supposed to anyway. And I was kind of like, well, I need something. And I maybe it was for a nervous tick. I have no idea. But I would chew paper.
Oh.
And she caught me and she goes, you need to spit out that gum now. And I said, it's not gum. And what did she do? She called me rebellious because,
dear.
you know,
Yeah.
you just kind of want to do your own thing, don't you? And it's like, I was so shy that, and then she called me out in the classroom like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I'll never do anything wrong again.
Thank you for sharing that story, because I think the more we can actually talk about things like that, we can understand these subconscious things that are brewing in our nervous systems. This is what I'm an ace at, and I'm just going to say it for you right now to give you that empathy and love and compassion that you didn't receive because someone else was not regulated. A grown-up wasn't regulated.
Yes,
You know?
yeah.
And we can, the beauty of that, those stories, we can, I call it rejigging, and we can shift that.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. So then in high school, let's fast forward a little bit to high school. So what did you change your mind on what you wanted to be?
I did not want to leave high school.
Really? You didn't want to adult?
I don't think I did. No,
Yeah.
I think it looked really scary. And
if you were the class clown, you were having fun.
I was having a great time. I really was. I think that I almost didn't graduate because I was failing health. I didn't want to go to health. And so even though I was always athletic, and I was a good girl, and I was a cheerleader, and all the things. That was a cool thing back then ish. Yeah. And
well, you weren't a mean girl.
I don't think so. I think I wanted to probably, if someone asked me what do you want to be when you grow up, I would say I want to be a kite, because I just wanted to float around and
oh my gosh.
Didn't really know. And it was the guidance I didn't really get from my advisors or my parents so much. My sister and I are the first generation to graduate from college.
Oh, wow.
My uncle did, but then he went into the military, so that was a whole different vibe. But I didn't know what I wanted to do after high school. I knew I wanted to help people, and so that's kind of where that whole journey started. And then there was a lot of unfortunate circumstances. Early deaths that happened in my 20s that really opened up the gateway for healing and trauma-informed somatics, Gestalt, and all the things that have paved the path up to now.
Yeah. What kind of jobs did you have in high school? Did you work during high school?
I did. I worked at Wendy's.
So you learned very well how to deal with other people's personalities.
I didn't want that job, actually. My dad said, you'll be doing that, and I got to walk there in my ugly uniform. But you know what? I worked really hard. I was 15. I had to have a worker's permit, and because I like to ski. I was a very dangerous downhill skier, but it was something that I started doing when I was about 5.
Why do you say dangerous?
I was a pocket rocket, man. I would just, and I loved moguls, and I blew out my knee, and I would ski with a bunch of boys, and I was the only girl, and they were nasty in the car, and I was just right along with them, and just so, but I loved the sport so much that they were like, well, you're gonna have to get some cash for that. And then I got my driver's license, and I think that was a really smart move on my parents' part, is having that responsibility. I needed to have a job. I had no idea how to actually manage money at that time. I thought, the ATM was really cool. You put your card in, you get $40. Like, what happens if you do it again? You get $80. But I didn't balance my checkbook. So that was my experience. I learned. It was really fun. And so then after Wendy's, I went to college, and then I had internships, but during that time I worked for an ophthalmologist. I was a certified medical assistant. I got that at the same time. I have blocks that I don't remember because of my dad's death was just really traumatic for me, that I'm like, how did that happen? How did I get here to here? But I also worked at Lake Powell for a summer, and that's when I learned I really do want a college degree.
Really?
Yeah, I was a dockhand. There came the water skiing and all the fun, the sports and all that, and people would get mad at us because the weather was bad, and so that was fun. And but I knew that I always wanted to help people. People would always come to me with their heartaches, and so I thought, what is that about? And then that's where my degree program came forward for me, and I loved it so much. I actually graduated with honors, believing because second grade, I had always thought I'm not very smart, not a very good student. And I learned that that was not true.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that when I was in, I think it was second grade, I actually went into a special reading class. And I knew it was the class that, they were people that didn't know how to read, and I didn't understand the reasons behind it. And I think from second grade on, all I kept thinking is, I don't know how to read, and yet I loved reading.
Wow.
And even an adult, now that I'm an adult, when I was coaching volleyball, one of the parents that, actually it might have been before I was coaching. One of the parents in my son's class, she had told me that her daughter always had 5 books going at one time. And I'm like, why would you let her do that? Of course, me being judgy, right? And she's like, I don't do it, but she does it because when she gets bored with one book, she goes to another book. And, she just loves to read that much. And I'm like, what a concept. To read more than one book at a time. I always thought I was a failure because I would pick up a book and then I'd read the first chapters and go, I don't know how I'm going to finish this. And it would just go in the drawer and I would never pick it up again and feel like, I don't like reading. Well, then I find out that maybe I can pick out 5 books and have 5 books at the time. And that's, it was, just the awakening of somebody actually giving me an idea that I didn't even think about that. And to be joyful now when I pick up a book and go, not in the mood for this one, and be able to pick another one. So, and I think it's probably the same thing as switching a channel on a TV, but it never even dawned on me.
It's so funny.
You could do something like that.
Yeah. Our brains create these interesting rules.
Yes.
And we take these unspoken vows that will, be a good girl or whatever they are. Sometimes they're subconscious, but it starts when that little early paradigm does a lot.
Yeah. And then when I was in high school, I actually worked at the Dairy Queen.
Okay.
So I know what you went through.
But
my first, Ed and Sandy Johnson were the owners. And they were the very first mentors outside of my parents that taught so many good things to us. Because it wasn't just me, my sister, a couple of my sisters worked there too, but they really taught us work ethic and showing up, and if we didn't want to go to work, our parents would be like, you committed, you're doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And we would always have to come up with, I think we all grew up being debaters because, there were 8 of us, right? And there were 5 of us that were like a year to 18 months apart, right? 5 of us girls. So we would always have to come up with, I don't like that. And then we'd have to come up with because, or I want to take the car and these are the reasons why, or whatever, So it's just the things that you learn early on.
For sure.
That
Absolutely.
I think have helped me because it really helps me to be more organized on the reasons why I do what I do. So
for sure, yeah, and there can be a negative response to that or a positive one, and that's where it's so fun to be a grown-up because you do have choice.
Oh, I'm glad you say that. It's so much fun to be a grown-up.
Yeah, it is.
Adulting is hard, but to know that you can actually move past some
Absolutely.
I mean, here I am, as old as I am. There were times that I didn't think I would get through a moment, much less, the years that I've gotten through, and all the things that I've learned, through those years.
Yes.
So your period of growing up, did you celebrate holidays?
Oh yes. Yes.
What's your favorite?
Gosh. Thanksgiving. I think because it's for
Really?
everybody, I think to be grateful and to be thankful, and I love food. I'm a foodie, and I think COVID, it's starting to kind of catch up with me that I enjoy it a lot because I'm aging. It's, it's there. But I love food. I love a beautiful set table. I also, I love Easter too. I love Christmas. I love them all.
Did you get together as a family, like your just immediate family, or did you have extended family as well?
We have a big extended family. Yeah, a lot of people are still up in Denver. A big, huge family. My father was killed in a car accident when I was 21. He was 47, so that's when all that circumstance happened. But we still stayed in touch and very close with my dad's side of the family. But my sister and I, and now our families, we celebrate together. But I made it a high priority. I even set tea settings for my children when they were like 5, 6, and 7, and we would celebrate with it's just important, to have that time to connect.
Well, that's one of the things that growing up we always had breakfast. Well, breakfast, we were Mom would get up early in the morning and she would make us all breakfast. There were 8 kids.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So she would make hot breakfast for us, and then Fridays would be our cold cereal or whatever day.
Aww.
But, and then lunch and dinner were always at the family table. No telephone, no TVs. I mean, we didn't have a TV that was close by because, that was before you had a TV in every room.
Yeah.
Or you had the open concept of, everybody being in the same room with the TV in the living room and all that kind of stuff. And that's what I kind of brought to my kids. And that was one of the things that even for holidays, Thanksgiving, I love Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving food. That's like my favorite food, right?
Yeah.
But for like Thanksgiving, we would still, even if the football games were on, the TV would go off while everybody would eat. And everybody would be, 5 different tables, because it was all the extended family that would be around. So,
That's, setting a beautiful table, or even just a picnic for me is I love that so much. And meal times for our family was really important too. I was coined the green smoothie mom in our neighborhood. It used to be the Kool-Aid mom when I was growing up, but the kids would flock to our house, and I love that so much. And it's still that way. Our son, he's now in the Space Force, officer, and had the ROTC guys and the cadets at our house a lot.
Yeah.
We just love having a big, island of food, and charcuterie was something I think I created actually, because it was like a graze table before it was cool, but
before they had a name for it.
Yeah.
That's the same thing too when I worked at Oracle. I didn't know that the job I was doing as project manager, for some of the projects that I was on, that was called a Scrum Master, and I'm like, they have a name for it now. That's so awesome. Something I've been doing for 10 years.
Oh, that's so funny.
But to go through that training to get the certification for it, oh, wow, there's a name for that now. All right.
Your natural gift.
I don't think I ever got the certification though. I just did the job. My whole purpose of this podcast is really to bring the light into darkness, I guess, if you will, or, to actually look at things differently. Because I think we all go through tough moments in our lives. Yeah. And we all handle things differently, and we actually push through differently. I just had a guest on that we were talking about her cancer treatments and what she got through. And how I actually, I didn't know I was doing it for my dad, but just bringing the humor into, his treatment, every day. So what is it that you do to get yourself out of a funk because we all get into a funk, I'm not going to lie, but I hope that you don't want to pretend either. I know that over the years that I've known you, I don't see that, you are very real on what it is that you go through and how you can try to push through. So what is it that you do?
Thanks for asking. Well, I do subscribe to the process and the practice that I share with people. I feel my feelings a lot, and I use them as feedback and information. I work hard to make sure I'm not bypassing those emotions, especially, the ones that feel painful or that they're never going to go away. In fact, yesterday I was feeling that way. I think I was coming off of a really exciting time of our middle daughter was graduating from college last week. She got a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. It's really tough, very competitive. And it's exciting. That's still stressful. Our nervous system still sees it as a stress response. I have to make sure that I can see things neutrally and have lots of feelings. I'm married to an engineer, and the feeling paradigm for Chris is a little different than mine. Mine's very all over the place. And I've learned to give myself grace. I think that's a lot of it too. I pray a lot, I believe in something greater than me. I believe in God, and the power of the Holy Spirit that really helps me stay grounded and regulated. And I have a great network of people I really trust. I've got a band of chicks that are, and I'm so grateful for them. I can share, and I journal. Those are the kind of the tools, but mainly I use the somatics. I use EFT tapping, and I'm a trauma-informed breathwork facilitator. So bringing those things in to get calm and grounded in my body because it's trying to tell me something.
Yeah.
And I've been through a lot. With the deaths and a medical circumstance that was quite worrisome, and it ebbs and flows. And so I want to make sure that I stay in the sympathetic nervous system, and that's what I try to offer other people. So I think I still bring in humor. Money is really serious and very emotional for people, and I respect that so much because that's how we do feel, and so we allow that too. Yes. All the emotions are welcome.
Yeah. So are there any community outreach things that you do?
Well, right now I'm very interested in being a bridge for mental health and finding a way to support that people in that realm who need extra mental health support, especially since COVID. I participated in the GRIT program through UCCS. I'm a facilitator. So it's to help people with resilience. It's a phenomenal program, and it's available to our community. So I definitely want to continue to step into that, and just in serving in our church, and honestly, the ministry of the four walls of my household, and I still have adult kids who still need me, and my sister has her son and his wife have twins. They're two, and so I was there earlier this week, and it was exhausting.
Yeah.
That's where I really feel like that it's that generational, bringing the kids up that way and supporting others. I used to overcommit. I was a professional volunteer for everything. So I
and some of my friends will tell you, I got a little magnet on my refrigerator for that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was on the principal advisory committee and all the things, and just very involved in all the organizations. So now it's a practice of saying no, honestly, because I do want to serve in so many ways. That's my gift and talent is for our human service.
Because you are such a great coach to me, did you have any coaches in your life that have influenced you? Or
I think business coach wise, Amber Kinney, she has been extremely supportive and helpful and cheerleadery and get to work, and so I think there's that. There's also my board of directors, that people that I have grown up with entrepreneurial wise that way would be Jess Sato, Melissa Snow. Also, we collab a lot that way. People you've grown up with too, entrepreneur wise. Yep. Coach wise. In sports, not really. I think that was kind of sad because there's such an opportunity. Our daughter is a collegiate athlete. She's a diver, and it's all sports are dangerous, but that one is such a mindset, such a head game, and I think that. Her coach really helped me just look at the nuance of borrowing the belief from someone else when you don't have it is so powerful.
Oh, wow. I never even think of that statement.
Yeah,
wow.
It's so powerful, and you can watch it from that perspective of doing something we've never done before. I personally believe that being an entrepreneur is the most courageous thing I've ever done. Pulling things out of my head that I've never done before, and creating a process and failing epically, and knowing that that's part of the game, I think.
And being okay with it.
Being okay with it, absolutely, absolutely. And that's where the feelings piece comes in. I also think coach-wise, there were parenting coaches that I learned from, and it really has created a lot of amazing fruit for our kids. And so family is just really important to me. That's probably my number one thing I really like to boast about and think about and celebrate. When you think about mindset or all the things. I really believe that it's more than that. It's what's going on in your nervous system. And so those are the things I'm learning from probably most of my professors, honestly, from back in the day. I pulled out a bunch of old books and saw that as, there was coaching going on when you have a really good teacher, And so I think that was a great experience, especially since I came full circle with a Cretan in second grade.
Yeah. Do you have any role models?
Well, I'm subscribing to one in particular right now because it's on the nuance of service and money and what it can do for people. So it's actually Mother Teresa. And she has a quote that is, it takes a checkbook to change the world. And that's my favorite quote when I think about that, because yes, that indeed is true. But if you look at her, the service that she provided for people in just such a profound way that sometimes it's so mind-blowing for people that they would never be able to do what she did. And I just admire that so much. It's interesting you're asking me that question right now, because I have been thinking about that quite a bit. And I don't really watch a lot of TV. I really am not on social media much because I like this better. And I want to, I'm known to hold people's hand under the table when we're having like a networking event, because I like people.
I love it. So would that be considered your perfect day then?
Yeah, life is short. And when you think about your mortality, when it is in your face, and when you have experiences that come up, I think that you just experience things different. Today, driving down here, I was like, wow, Pikes Peak is just so vibrant. I mean, I've been living here my whole entire life, and I appreciate that so much. And it was so fun on that gratitude and excitement that was in my body when I drove up and I came through the doors. It was just so much fun to see you. And that is a perfect day for me.
Yeah. Wow. So do you like traveling?
I do. Chris and I are going on a trip next week, and it's kind of fun to navigate what we're going to do. Of course, I always want to look to see what's available to eat, but we like outdoorsy
so
things.
Next time I go somewhere, I can reach out to you and say,
Yes.
Hey, Becky, have you been here?
100%. Oh my gosh, yes. I am all about it. I love the whole hospitality. I probably would do something in that industry. Like, I would love to be a chef, or I mean, I just think all that stuff is cool. But we outdoors things, we're always looking for great trails. We used to climb 14ers, and
really?
I don't do that anymore, but we try and compensate for what supports, that our interests.
Yes.
And my son gave me a birding book, so I'm like, oh my gosh, now I really am getting closer to my geriatric season. Bird watching. I'm really looking forward to that.
And see, there's another word.
Yeah, always.
Another word we never thought we'd be talking about.
I know. Yeah.
What is something that's people would be surprised to know about you?
Oh, well, this is kind of funny. Let's see. I had a couple of things that came up. I'm a first degree black belt in Taekwondo, and I wanted to quit about 1,000 times, but I never did. And I love that because it is such a mental game also. And there's a lot of things about that season that I persevered. So there's that. And then, what else is something? I really love people a lot. I kept telling people when I meet them online during COVID, I do have a weird sense of humor, and that's just kind of my brand too. It's kind of quirky, but I told them I can't wait to see you in person, because when I do, I'm pretty sure I'm going to lick your face. And I just I really like people so much, and seeing people laugh, and I'm weird, and it makes me happy.
It's probably why we get along.
Maybe.
The 3 best words that describe who you are. Okay, 1.
Okay.
Let's just talk about it, and then we can have one.
Okay. Let's see. Energetic, compassionate, and feisty.
I don't see that in you at all.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I think I just appreciated so much in you is the family that I feel, just because it's like I grew up with a lot of sisters, but your welcome arms, to here, come with me.
Yes.
Just let me take you under my wing for a minute and just let me introduce you to some people. And, I think it's great to be able to learn from somebody like you.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I do think inclusion is, from that place of knowing what it feels like to not. Well, I think we all have this thing where we don't feel like that we're included. I try to be funny with this, but I think it's an undertow of maybe second grade I need to work on. I'm not sure. But I would say things like, that person doesn't like me, or trying to be funny, but I think it's also looking for that validation that, not everybody has to like you, but it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. And so I think, I'm almost getting closer to 60, that it's like, I don't really care. And, I'm me, and this is how it rolls. But I would like to invite you anyway.
Yes. Well, and one of the things I think in the last couple months that I think the last conversation you and I had, or maybe somebody else that I had, people are trying to change me, and who, and after all these years, it's like, oh yeah, that is not going to happen. I'll still have, I feel so bad, and that's okay.
Right.
And I think that's where my, that little fifth grade girl, when I was, chewing paper, that comes in, where it's like, that's just who I am. And I don't want to change who I am because I like who I am. There's some days that, it's like, I can sit on the couch and be okay with that. Yeah. And I think that was one of the things that I discovered just a couple weekends ago.
Oh, that's so good. I think rest is so important in that. And I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think I just feel like that was a great bridge for what you were saying, is that I think that we get so used to believing that we need to do more in order to feel better. And a lot of times it's from that place of just resting and being able to listen to the stillness. And boy, our body does have a lot of things to tell us if we'll just pause and listen.
Yes, that's exactly true. So do you have anything on your bucket list that...
Bucket list. Oh, golly. But, well...
You almost were in the Olympics, it sounds like.
I really was.
With your skiing.
So many things. Yeah.
Would you have been in the Olympics if you would have been able to?
No.
You weren't that disciplined? You were just a fun...
I just loved it. I was very competitive, and that's probably... I think the Olympics for emotions is probably where I'm at now. I just am very interested in human behavior. I love the psychology of money. I love mental health, and just the awareness. The more people become aware, the more that we can be such a healthier society. And I want to celebrate that. Negative emotions, positive emotions, helping one another. I love that phrase, all ships rise with the tide. And that's my favorite thing to think about, that is that, we're all really in this. And still a cheerleader at heart.
I want to thank you very much for joining me today, and I appreciate all that you do for me and all you do for others. You definitely are somebody who you share more of your heart than you believe,
or
that comes across, right?
Cheers! I appreciate you so much.
Cheers. So with that said, thank you all for joining us today with Coffee with Sandy. I am Sandy Shook. I am a mortgage advisor. I am the literacy expert for purchasing homes and getting you into possibly looking at what your finances are, so that maybe you can refinance and get out of the struggle that you're in. And Becky, if you could give everybody information on how to reach you, that would be great.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. It's my favorite place to hang out with people. I love to connect others on LinkedIn as well. I'm also on Instagram, Becky Clabaugh Coaching, and so I'd love to meet you there.
Thank you so much.